All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Monday morning. Man, uh, don't even know where to start. We have I have a scheduled brief that we're going to knock out this morning, but we have a lot to talk about before we knock out our scheduled solo AI brief. Man, last week the AI clone wars essentially started, and then a real war started, or engagement, or military operations. How about that? Let me lead with a couple things. Uh, waking up this morning, phone blowing up, three F-15E Strike Eagles being shot down by apparently Kuwaiti air defenses is just, you know, uh, I'd like to say, blue on blues or green on blues don't happen. They do. We've lost two F-18 Hornets in friendly fire, Gulf War, and then Operation Iraqi Freedom 2003. Guy got killed. We lost a Tomcat to friendly fire. We lost the Brits lost a tornado. Hell, we lost two Blackhawks that got shot down by an F-15, 30 plus folks killed. So, and last year, the USS Gettysburg shot down a Super Hornet trying to land aboard the Roosevelt, and they shot at another Hornet that it missed. So thank God the air crew okay. I mean, that's just awesome. Already seeing videos and pictures of in the back of a truck. The one guy's got a busted hand. His hand is a bloody stump. Uh, Four American servicemen have been killed so far. Five, six ish more injured, and that's just. I served. My oldest son is serving in the Air Force. Uh, God bless their souls. God bless their families. It's just, it's bad. Let me lead with this because, it's social media, whatever. But, somebody gave me a little grief the other day about like, oh, you're supposed to be some healed dude. And, you're talking about profiting off of war. Let me be clear, man. In case you're new, war is an absolute horror. It is the ultimate failure of the human condition. It doesn't get any more horrific, right? And yeah, man, I did some significant healing. I reconnected with God, my family, destroyed alcohol, all sorts of stuff, man. And yeah, we are all one. That's why I hate war even more. I can see it. We're all the same piece of cosmic stardust that appeared in an instant when some awesome dude said, "Let there be light." We are all one family. That's why this hurts. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I am all for religious freedom. But, you know, if your religion says, wait, you don't believe in my guy? Well, I'm going to kill you. Or my guy says I can kill you. I'm going to have a problem with you. Just because I've healed, or many veterans like me who have healed with sacred plant medicine, doesn't mean we all threw on flowing robes and mala beads and live in a yurt. Absolute pacifist until it's time not to be a pacifist. I have a video on my social about the man who wanted to be left alone, and it's kind of time to to watch that video again. So, and here's the other thing, and of course, this person who would criticize me, I guarantee you, had never donated to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation or Sacred Warrior Fellowship. What do you think that runs on? Air? It's a very tough environment, man. Many of you know, I'll brief you on my foundation here in a little bit, but my beautiful bride and I have been funding the majority of the operations in these nonprofits because ain't nobody donating. It's a very tough environment to raise money for nonprofits. I thought it would be easy. Hey, can you donate to save a veteran? Yeah. So if conflict is going to happen, I'm going to make money off of it. Period. You want a friend, get a dog. I engage in philanthropic capitalism, man. Making money's great. I'm going to show you this morning. I think I'm up about 4 to 5 grand on a Raytheon position I got out of, a long volatility position I got out of. I just bought some calls on the S&P 500 that are probably up $2,000 right now. That's great. Making money's great, but it'll be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. So you know what I do with some of my money? I throw it over the fence. That's what I do. You're not a pharaoh. They're not gonna put it in your tomb, and you're not gonna take it with you. So if you're one of those people like, oh, you geez, talk about, yeah, man. I love the movie Wall Street, Gordon Gekko. Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street liked to quote Sun Tzu a lot, right? He styled himself as like a general. And to Bud Fox, right? Charlie Sheen, he'd quote Sun Tzu a bunch. Um, but I think one of the best quotes in Wall Street is, if you want a friend, get a dog. At Top Gun Options, I'm here to teach you how to make money, whether that's on bad things, good things, or in between things. I really don't care what you think. I know who I am. I know what I do, and I save and change lives. So, let me get that. Let me get that out of the way. It's exactly right, Thomas. No pockets in coffins. So, welcome aboard to all the new folks, man. We have like over 600 people registered for this, but you are joining a regularly scheduled member brief. But let me just talk to my current members right now. Folks, this was easy. This was free money right here. These calls right now, if I stayed in them, they'd be up $1,500 right now. I bought some S&P calls right at about 15 minutes ago, and got out of them immediately. Got out of the Raytheon and the volatility index calls. And Preston crushed it, man. 165% gain in his Raytheon. Mo, hey, Mo is a great American, fellow fighter pilot. Mo engages in philanthropic capitalism. Look at Mo. I'm out. Both contracts. Great trade whiz. Donation made to No Fallen Heroes. Giving back. See? So again, for all the wusses on social media who are T-Rexes and don't donate money anyway, there you go. This is what we do here at Top Gun Options. So before we get into solo AI and our new service here, folks, I can train you how to print money as others panic. Now look at this. And I sent this alert out, this morning. Where is it? Hunters, saying, hey, get ready to close all this stuff right at the open, right? Right here. This was earlier, 3 hours ago, man. I was up at the crack of dawn, did a Fox News hit and the Joe Piscopo radio show in New York City. Raytheon up 7, VIX exploding, SPX down 1%. Boom. Get ready to close all 3 positions at the open for massive profit. This is how you do it. So let me just show you the S&P 500. Here's my other Raytheon position that's still up, 72% in a month, $1,500. So look at the S&P 500. When you just saw Raisin talk, this ain't going to be long. This ain't some. Okay, nice job, E-Trade, with your awesome charts. Anyway, look at the S&P 500 right now. If you have another screen open, something, we're rallying. We've already given back all the quote losses. This was a no-brainer to buy the dip, right? Because this isn't going to be some massive sustained combat operations, man. This is, and I don't want to do an Operation Iraqi Freedom, George Bush mission accomplished. We got a lot of work to do, but the fact that, let me see if the quotes are back up here. I just close everything to reopen it. Let's see if my charts are working again. Yeah, there we go. There's Raytheon popping. But look at the S&P 500. This was a no-brainer. If you bought the calls that I just put out, look at this. So the market opened, gap down, and you see these horizontal white lines? Those are $25 increments. Why? Because S&P, SPX moves in $25 increments. Right at the open here, I got out of my bullish VIX, my bullish Raytheon, and the bearish S&P 500. And then I just showed you in our member area, I bought some calls right about here, the 68.35 calls, and I made $500 in about 3 minutes. Got out. I'd be done for the day, making close to $5,000 in 39 minutes, but I have a brief to do. But current members, you guys should understand you should have bought this dip right here. And we're already back to, well, I mean, we closed Friday all the way up here, but look at this. What a strong rally in the S&P. We were down, the futures were down last night like over 1% in the S&P 500. Now we're down a quarter, right? Market only cares when it cares. Look, we're already essentially back. and I think we're going to get a snapback rally. Now, we're in a new service here that I'm going to jump into right now, but I wanted to talk to my current members on managing current positions. All of this stuff is going on right here on an app, folks. When you join this morning, our new service, you're going to get access to our app where you get alerts instantaneously. This is obviously what it looks like in the online member area. This is our intel and commentary thread. And yeah, Jet and Raisin, if you guys don't know me, I know Raisin. I've known Raisin for over 2 decades. He and I worked in business together. What? He's military. I was flying fighters for the Navy Reserve. He was flying fighters for the Guard. We did business consulting together. So I know Raisin very well. But this is our member area. This is where I blast out trade alerts. Here's where I blasted out the alerts to get out of our Raytheon, VIX, and S&P 500 positions, and then fired the drinking money calls on the S&P 500. I got into those at what? Filled 2180. Let's go see what the 6835 calls are. And if you're sitting here going with, I don't know what 6835 calls are, you're going to learn. So let me just go look at this real quick. These calls today, 6835 calls are all the way down here. I got into them at what? 21 bucks. You're up $16 on those calls. If you had bought one call like I did, you'd be up $1,600 right now. I bailed at 500 bucks because I had a brief to start. But look at that, folks. Bought those calls right there, you'd be up 1,600 bucks. Okay. Now, does that look hard? Does any of this look hard, folks? It's not. And I'm gonna train you all that stuff. All right. So here we go. Let me knock out the brief. Excuse me. And then I'm going to take more questions. I'm going to keep an eye on the S&P 500. That's ripping even higher right now. But we have a lot to cover. So I could not be more fired up. Again, I get it. Things going on in the world right now. It can hurt. You might feel a little, antsy right now. But man, would you rather feel antsy, or would you like to, potentially make some money here? So let me go ahead and get airborne. So let me remind you, and current TGO members, if you didn't act already, it's too late. Now I'm treating you like you're a member of the public. You had an opportunity to upgrade to 50%. If you didn't, you're now a member of the public. So Solo AI, the world changed 4 weeks ago, right? Do you remember? Claude launched Opus, Oracle, LegalZoom, Salesforce, all the SaaS, software as a service stocks got destroyed. 300 billion in stock market value wiped out. And then last week, we're going to look at some headlines that the world changed even more. Now, let me be clear. Here is my prediction. AI is going to take, if you use a screen, or you use your phone for everything, your job is absolutely at risk, period. So my predictions are AI is going to destroy jobs in this country. It's going to make the COVID crash look pleasant. I guarantee you. And ultimately, AI is going to kill all of us. Grew up in the 80s, man. I've seen these movies. That's a no-brainer, folks. Autonomous killing machines are kind of here. So this is a horror. I'm going to be clear. But like I started this brief, if you want a friend, get a dog. As it's being a horror and everything's exploding and going down, I'm going to make money, period. So last week, Elon Musk gave an incredible interview, and let's just ripple through this. If you don't learn to invest now, you're going to get destroyed. Here's what's going to die and how it's going to happen. Driving is over with. Okay. You can throw, your kid in a car now, a driverless car, and get them to school. Self-driving is already kind of here, but it will be here even more. 12 million drivers unemployed. DoorDash. Folks, when I walk around my neighborhood, I see people in civilian cars, in regular cars, beat up cars. Lady gets out, runs up to a front porch, drops something off, takes a picture. And then I notice like an Amazon vest. I'm like, look at Amazon using people to be delivery drivers. They're gone. And you can tell by the car, and like they ain't, upper middle class people. Those jobs are gone. I told you last year that it leaked from Amazon. They didn't deny it, that they want to get rid of 500,000 employees in the next couple of years. Did you hear that number? What happens to those people, to their health care, their 401ks, their retirement, their money, their rent, their mortgage? Self-driving. Doctors gone. I just said I'm a kid of the 80s, right, man? Do you remember Luke when his left hand got cut off and the AI robot kind of put a new left hand on him? It's over with. AI diagnoses better than any human on the planet. They have access instantaneously to everything. Prescribes perfectly, never forgets. You ever go to a doctor's appointment, the guy walks in like he's first time he's seen you and you've been going there for 10 years? Surgeons, done. Instead of a surgeon, how about doctors when they go through residency? Wiz, I haven't slept for 3 days and now I'm going to go into surgery. Oh, that's great. Done. The newest, hottest surgical thing that comes out, you don't have to go to a conference. You don't have to learn it. You don't have to go, who's the best surgeon in this field? Oh man, I have to travel to New York City to get this procedure. No, you don't. And these AI surgeons ain't going to be doing coke and they're not going to be tired. It's over with. Coders, folks, these are $165,000 a year entry level jobs. I covered this in the Wall Street Journal last year. Coders, entry level jobs are gone. AI is writing its own code and deploying and maintaining its own system. Period. Teachers, personalized AI tutors available, individual attention catered to who? You. They're going to know you. Lawyers, done. AI reads case law instantaneously, writes perfect contracts and briefs. Do not start typing in this chat box right now like it makes phantom cases. You're a year and a half in the past, dude. Keep up on current events. That's over with. Every release and iteration of AI gets smarter and tighter. Matter of fact, what do I predict? We got Judge Dredd in the future. There will be AI court cases. Ain't no, this case has gone to trial in 2 years or whatever, or civil litigation. It's going to be two AIs looking at facts with an AI judge that goes, beep, beep, this is fair, execute. Over for attorneys, over for accountants, factory workers, man. I mean, this, and then down at the bottom, terrifying. Terrifying. AI control Jones. I showed TGO members last month a video in China of these. They were dancers. They were robot dancers, ladies and gentlemen, who like flipped and everything like that. Put a gun in their hand. You guys all saw the movie RoboCop, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute horror. Or we take the other side. Every job AI destroys creates massive profits for the companies building it. So you can either be disrupted or you can own the disruptors. Solo AI, this service is going to show you how. $700 billion. Everybody look in the chat box right now. David, you and me both, man. Everybody look in the chat box right now. If you didn't read this before this brief, you failed. Give me 50 push-ups. This 19-page institutional report is a gift. I just updated it and just uploaded it. Current stock prices, current outlook, everything is in here. All the news from last week, we're going to cover briefly before we place some trades. NVIDIA earnings blowout. OpenAI last week, another $110 billion. The Meta AMD deal, $100 billion. Block, Jack Dorsey, 40% of his workforce gone last week because of AI. Trump and Hegseth, Anthropic, get out of the Pentagon and you're an enemy of the state. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it again, if you didn't read this, you've failed already. Got the price targets, got all the names we're going to target in this brand new portfolio in here. It's in the chat box if you didn't get it already. Go get it now. Don't read it now because we got work to do. All right, let's keep going. We, ladies and gentlemen, just a brief review of those headlines from last week. Power. AI and the data center backlash. Did you not see the State of the Union when Donald Trump's like, power, you guys got to pay for your own power. It ain't coming from the American people. Some of our investments are going to be long-term bullish on the names. The only power that's really available, nuke, and we don't have enough of it. This was awful. Jack Dorsey, the guy that owned Twitter, woke up last week, sent an email to 4,000 of his employees. Folks, they weren't waiters and waitresses. They were white collar jobs, 4,000, 40% of block gone. And he said, instead of death by 1,000 cuts, he's like, I'm getting rid of all these guys now because I know we don't need them. And this might not be the end of those reductions. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for what's coming? Look at this guy's quote. Intelligence tools have changed what it means to build and run a company. A significantly smaller team using the tools we're building can do more and do it better. I told Top Gun Options members years ago, ladies and gentlemen, that what? This is coming. When you got Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates years ago was saying, AI is going to be great. And then Elon Musk years ago said AI is going to kill everybody, and we need to have a big meeting of the five families and stop it. Do you remember this happening? I do. I told you. I said, and now it turns out Bill Gates is a complete scumbag. Hey, Jeffrey Epstein. I caught an STD from a Russian hooker, and I think my wife might have it. How do I sneak penicillin into her food? You want to listen to that guy or Elon Musk? So, ladies and gentlemen, they went from many of the tech CEOs years ago saying, oh, hey, it's going to be great. It's going to help employees and optimize everything they're doing to we're going to be the 5 AI trillionaires on the planet and everybody else is screwed. So Wall Street technically is terrified. So I did repost. The report is posted in the chat box. You should be able to see it. If not, I can repost it later. So again, did everybody also read this? I've been sending out a ton of stuff, man. This is why you got to join because this stuff, it's changing by the minute, man, and we are on it. The Citrini research, did everybody read this last week? You needed to read this, then you needed to read it again. You needed to take a walk and read it again. Here it is, if you didn't read it. This is terrifying. Did you see what happened last Monday? Viral doomsday report lays bare Wall Street's deep anxiety about AI future. Citrini Research's thought experiment rattles investors already wary of tech disruptions. This is scary. And I don't mean scary for me because I love scary. Scary means volatility. Scary means I'm going to make money. I profit as others panic. So this also happened last week. Look at the Anthropic CEO. This was a 60 minutes interview. Sit up straight and listen to me. The Anthropic CEO said that AI will wipe out every job and spike unemployment to 20% in the next 12 months. Are you listening to me? You're going to find out in a couple of minutes. I wrote a book about the COVID crash. I was one of the only guys on this planet that called it to the day. You're welcome. I feel I have more conviction than I did in the COVID crash. What's coming, ladies and gentlemen, is going to make the COVID crash look pleasant. This was last week, man. The disruption is already here, and solo AI is going to put you on the right side. Yeah, man, he said that in the next 12 months. So either he's an idiot and he's lying, or he's not. So let's make a market. Let's meet mid-market. He's clearly not an idiot and lying, and maybe it's not 12. Let's meet in the middle. The middle of what that guy said is terrifying. Do you understand me? And this was on Friday. Man, I was getting my slides ready. It's moving by the minute. The week the dreaded AI jobs wipeout got real. Look at this. Look at the subheadline in the Journal. Layoffs at Block add to growing backlash bubbling up across American companies. It brings out the pitchforks. Whoa. I saw a techie post this on X over the weekend. This guy, a brilliant dude. Based on everything you know about me, will AI replace my job in the next 12 months? I've completed my analysis based on current AI growth trajectories. You will likely be replaced within 6 to 8 months. On a positive note, you will have significantly more free time to explore new hobbies. I would not recommend signing any long-term leases. The definition of a recession is when your neighbor loses their job. The definition of a depression is when you lose yours. Ladies and gentlemen, man, Whew. Welcome aboard our newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options called Solo AI. For the over 500 people who've registered who might not have any clue who I am, welcome aboard. My name is Matthew Buckley. You can call me Wiz. I was an F-18 fighter pilot, 15, 16 years, graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, the adversary program, deployed for Operation Southern Watch, Noble Eagle, and Enduring Freedom. Watching what happened this morning, it's a chapter of my book. I launched off of the Lincoln, which is my first cruise was on the Lincoln, and the Lincoln's out there right now. My IFF wasn't working. I couldn't go into Iraq. I had to hang out overhead the boat until they got back from Iraq. What happened during that boring flight? I thought, like, nah, I'm just going to bag some flight time up here. An Iranian helicopter launched out of Bushehr and came right at the Lincoln. I was the only plane up there. I had to go intercept this helicopter that was flying right at the Lincoln. One dude in the helo, big Iranian flag, big box in the back, big crate. Potentially almost shot that guy down. You got to read my book. But seeing the IFF issue today, man, I've been there. All right, what's this have to do with trading? Everything. I had a very brief airline career. Morning of September 11th, essentially my first and last day at work at American Airlines, I ended up racing out to the Naval Air Station in Fort Worth and manned a combat air patrol with the F-16 squadron next door. Taught myself how to trade on active duty, man. You don't join the Navy to get rich. You join the Navy to see the world and deliver justice to our enemies. But popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility options trading firms in the world. There's our trading firm. I had a blast when I was there. I helped build a hedge fund. I helped build the retail brokerage options house. I started my own financial media company, and it was awesome. To be honest with you, no offense to anybody from Chicago, you can keep it. I'm a Navy guy. I'm a beach guy. We moved down to God's Waiting Room, Boca Raton, 2010, where I started Top Gun Options to put the ladder down. I loved being an F-18 instructor. I love being an options instructor. And it's so funny because people are like, oh, well, why don't you do this on your own? I do. Go look at my trades in this book from COVID Crash, called COVID Crash, folks. It's so funny. We made $2.8 million in 2.5 weeks. Absolute insanity. So I do trade my own money. And I also, if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be sitting here doing this. I wouldn't be sitting here. I would have made my $5,000 this morning and gone to the beach. Right. So I've written a couple books, COVID Crash, we just talked about, and then From Sea Level to Sea Level, me leaving the cockpit, going to Chicago and start my own companies. What else do I do outside what we're doing right here? I run the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. We're a 501c3 dedicated to saving and changing the lives of our nation's heroes. And then last year I started Sacred Warrior Fellowship. This 5 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, it was the most spiritual, religious experience of my life. If any of you have seen the movie Lone Survivor, I went with Marcus Luttrell. Any of you guys drink Black Rifle coffee? That's Jared Taylor, JT. That's JJ. He's another Navy SEAL who's a teammate with Marcus. He's a TGO member. I don't know if you're in here, JJ. And that's Robert Gallery. He's an All-American at Iowa. College Football Hall of Fame, paid for the Raiders. Horrific CTE. Well, they don't know you have CTE until they open your brain up. He runs his own nonprofit now to get ibogaine and psychedelic assisted therapy to his brothers in the NFL. Met with Secretary Collins last year, the VA secretary, trying to get this stuff done. Not happy, to be honest with you. Joe Rogan had RFK Jr. on there on the podcast last week talking about psychedelics and veterans. Go look at my social media. Extremely critical of what's going on now. I was bullish last year. Now now I'm going to take a flamethrower to these people. They suck. We have an L-39 fighter jet. I take some TGO members flying in there. JG, I don't know if you're in here, or Mitch, or any of these guys. I've taken flying, but that's what we do as well. All right, here we go. Good. That took not as much time as was supposed to, which is awesome. There's Mitch. Ladies and gentlemen, Solo AI. Let's talk through this. What's the opportunity? 700 billion. That's a B deployed into AI infrastructure this year. It's March. Wiz, exactly. We're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. 200 billion, and a third of that is Amazon, the stock we call the Death Star. This Monday morning brief used to be solo Amazon. We just traded the Death Star because it's the Death Star. That's gone, and now we're going to trade solo AI. But my largest personal holding is Amazon and psychedelics, but it's the Death Star in this space, and we're going to talk about why in a second. 185 billion out of Google, 135 out of Facebook. You'll notice I didn't call them Alphabet or Meta because I can't stand that they renamed themselves. 80 billion out of Microsoft. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the largest technology build out in human history, and it's going to end humanity. I already told you that. But the companies spending today are going to dominate for the future. This is the .com bubble pop. But are you going to invest in AOL and Netscape and Pets.com? Or are you going to invest in the names that even if the bubble pops or when the bubble pops, they will survive? They might get hit a little bit, but they will be the phoenix that rise from the ashes. We're going to talk about NVIDIA in a couple of minutes. NVIDIA earnings last week was filthy. NVIDIA earnings last week were disgusting. 68 billion in Q4 revenue. That was a 73% year over year beat, guided higher for this first quarter. Their CEO, the agentic AI inflection point, has arrived. Not coming, it's here. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Death Star, Amazon, 211, 208-ish. We'll look in a couple of minutes here and we look at, we play some trades. It's taking over everything. It's going to be a core position in this portfolio. Last earnings were also disgusting. It imploded, Wiz. It imploded because 2 earnings ago, it exploded. A 6 Sigma beat in earnings. The stock was up like 15%. On what? CapEx. Look at all the money they're spending. What happened last earnings? Stock went down 10%. Why? CapEx. Look at how much they're spending. Which one is it, Wall Street? So we can ignore the tactical shifts in Amazon. You got to be long-term bullish on the Death Star years into the future. I'm going to teach you how to do that using options. But folks, look at the numbers. 24 year-over-year growth with AWS. 40% with their backlog, ladies and gentlemen. CapEx, spending it. Their full year revenue is up 12% year over year. Advertising revenue. What? Folks, they do everything. They have a monopoly in just about everything they do. They're making their own chips that are 30 to 40% cheaper than NVIDIA and faster. Talk about putting all your eggs in one basket. It's NVIDIA. Amazon does things. Amazon Air or transportation is bigger than FedEx and UPS. Amazon Prime is bigger than Netflix. AWS is essentially Azure at Microsoft. It is the Death Star. So it's not just an AI play, folks. It's retail, pharma, healthcare, logistics, advertising, streaming. It's in everything. And it's my biggest position. The best part about Amazon, folks, is it's bringing in money to pay for CapEx. This is stupid. Look at Sam Altman at OpenAI. How are you making money? We're not. We just charged Wiz $20 for his membership. What? Well, now we're going to start having ads on here. Amazon can pay for everything it's doing. That's why it's my largest holding. Christine, I don't know if Christine's in here. 107 grand in a month. Thanks, Wiz, for all your expertise and guidance doing day trades and short calls to protect my Amazon profits, learning from the best. Anne, I don't know if you're in here, Anne. That November, she made me look like I was an idiot, which is a distinct possibility. $90,000 on short calls against her 30 contracts using my guidance. So solo AI is going to expand, just focusing on the Death Star, to 10 other names in the entire AI value chain. So starting this morning in about 5 minutes, we're going to go in, we're going to place a couple of our first positions in this new portfolio. And then as the weeks go on, I'm going to fill it up with the rest of the names. So you joining today is awesome. Here they are. In this vertical or horizontal on your screen, Amazon, Nvidia, and Broadcom. This is the hyperscalers and the silicon, folks. This is the AI, compute, and the cloud. Power. There is not enough power on this planet to meet what we're doing right now. We're going to take a look at the energy names. I recommended Constellation Energy, what, a month ago? Go look at the chart of Constellation Energy since I told you to buy it. You didn't miss out, folks. There's still more upside. Kind of like with Raytheon. For my other members, we'll talk about Raytheon tomorrow and Wednesday in our other briefs. But man, Wiz, I missed your Raytheon trades. No, you didn't. Do you know we're out of weapons? General Kane last week, like President Trump, we're out of weapons, man. We need to order some. If you're Raytheon, you go, oh, sure, we'll make more. And here's the price. Anyway, AI, compute, and cloud, power and infrastructure. And then what's the other one? The software, the infrastructure, the guts, Palantir, man, Canico. And then I have a lottery ticket in here. It's called NNE, right? NNE is my lotto ticket. It's a micro reactor moonshot, man. These small modular reactors or whatever. This is a lotto ticket. So this is how I break up this portfolio, folks. I've been working on this for a while. That report you got, man, I haven't worked this hard at Top Gun Options or on Wall Street in years. Why? Because this is the COVID crash. This is the AI crash. It's coming. But we're going to have there's conservative names in here. Amazon ain't going out of business anytime soon. And NE might, or it might not. Remember, little risk, little reward. A lot of risk, a lot of reward. So that's our portfolio, and we're going to start building it here today. So here's what you're going to get in Solo AI, everything you need to trade this AI revolution. I'm going to crank out 1 or 2 reports a week on our portfolio names. They will be current. They will be up to the minute. This is just like as if I walked over to my research desk in Chicago with my cup of coffee and said, I need this. It would take hours to do, or maybe a day. You're going to get these instantaneously, right? With 12 and 24-month price targets. Most analysts don't do that. That's what you're going to get. Every Monday morning at 10 a.m., this live trade brief. You're going to see my exact positions, trade my real money, how I select the strikes, how I manage risk, all of it. Instant trade alerts on our app and on the website, right? You get 2 things. You get an app and you get access to the website. You're going to get some skill-based training manuals. You get access to the Ready Room where I post all my intelligence. Hey, I just heard this, or, this is going on. Additionally, folks, Options Weapons School, which we'll talk about in a second. Kevin just joined Lifetime last week. Hey, Wiz, want to lock in Lifetime? I belong to the Hunters and Solo Amazon, just renewed in October. Did great last year. Doubled my retirement account from 110 to 225, mostly from Amazon and some sniper shots. Sniper shots are my S&P 500 trades. Quick shots like I showed you this morning. Look at this, man. You're welcome, Wiz. Great work you're doing. I'm up 3,600 on JP Morgan, 26 on SIBO, down 1,800 Amazon, up 27 on Raytheon using synthetics. 31 grand on trades I would have never done without your teaching. That puts a smile on my face. So here's what I want to do. I want to get airborne, start building our portfolio, and I'll show you even more of what you're going to get when you join, because I want to stay on timeline here. Let's just ripple through some headlines real quick. Unbelievable. That just freaks me out. But look at these headlines. U.S. races to accomplish Iran mission before munitions run out by Raytheon. Look at this headline. America needs a lot more weapons. We need a high-low mix of exquisite, expensive munitions and inexpensive mass-produced ones. Look at that headline. War stocks jump. These firms have the most Middle East exposure. Ladies and gentlemen, this ain't hard. This is easy. But I'm going to ripple through these headlines, and we're going to put our first 2 names in our position here. The week the dreaded AI jobs wipeout got real. We talked about that. Trump admin shuns Anthropic, embraces OpenAI, and clash over guardrails. This guy's an idiot. Like, he's like, we don't use Anthropic for to spy on Americans or for war purposes. The Pentagon. We're going to use it for all legal means. We're not going to spy on Americans, but we're the Department of War. Our job is killing people. Nice job with your morals, Anthropic CEO. What happened within minutes? Sam Altman came out. OpenAI. We'll do the deal with the Pentagon because they promised not to do the two things that you said they're going to do. Wow, that changed. So, here we go. Already talked about this. How Jack Dorsey explained cutting almost half of his staff. Look at this headline. The co-founder says fewer employees is better in the AI age. Fewer employees is better in the AI age to who? To him. Are you awake? What a horrible thing to say, man. Already talked about the power, not enough. Nvidia beats back bubble fears with record 68 billion in sales. Wow. We're in a bubble. Not according to Nvidia last week. Meta and AMD agree to a chip deal. These are all last week. I gave you this horror brief that you have to read. This is the GIC, the Global Intelligence Crisis, 2028. It's 2026, Wiz. You don't know what you're talking about because this report takes place in the future and it's looking backwards. Read this. Read it again. Read it for the third time. Everybody have that one, right? I mean, look at this. Last Monday, ladies and gentlemen, that report, which I gave to TGO members last Sunday afternoon, did this. That's what that huge leg down was. So just that research report did that, and we printed money because of it. What else do I have before we get airborne? Oh, tech firms aren't just encouraging their workers to use AI, they're enforcing it. Hey, Wiz, welcome to work. Use this new AI robot. Well, I can use it. Okay. You're training your replacement. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID crash, a lot of restaurants, a lot of people out of work. This is destroying white collar jobs. Last year at Top Gun Options, I told you about Amazon, UPS, Accenture. What's the other one? McKinsey, whatever. They're all clipping their 250 to 500 a year white collar jobs. Those people thought they were safe for life. They're gone. Where are they going to go work? Starbucks? Well, guess what? The new Optimus robot, like 6 months ago, Elon Musk showed like a video of it was having a hard time folding clothes and putting dishes in a dishwasher. Go look at the new videos of these robots. That's why I just laugh at like the attorneys, especially like, well, I heard years ago one attorney used it and it made a phantom case. That was years ago, dude. Even a week ago is old. When I use mine for legal stuff, it gives me great stuff. And I go, that's awesome. Thank you. Now be opposing counsel and sue me and rip this to shreds. Oh, good call. Well, here's where the holes are. Great. Fix those holes. That would have been 10 to 20 grand in the past. Gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, the world changed. Does everybody understand this? Look at that. Trader Vic closed out Sniper S&P 500 shorts, $1,300. Closed out Raytheon bullish double vertical, $1,500. Closed out a bear put on China, 3K profit. Look at that. I'm grabbing a screenshot of that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I love doing these briefs where I have my current members in here and they share what they're doing. Nice job, man. This is the way. All right, here we go. Let's go look. I haven't picked it yet. I'm going to do it right now. Let's go look at NVIDIA. How are we going to start oh man, I should have done it already. I knew it was going to bounce right off that two. We are going to do NVIDIA. Why? Because it's bouncing off of that. You see that red line down there? Hold on. I'm moving stuff around here. 9 months. Folks, that red line is the 200-day moving average. We had a little kiss back here, it ripped. We had a hit back here, and now we're getting a bounce. And these blue and green lines up here are the 50 and 20-day moving averages. All right. So I actually have a position on NVIDIA. Mike, new options for Solio is no, Mike. I am not. This ain't no just sit here and on the edge of the pier with your mouth open, getting fish thrown in your mouth. I'm going to teach you how to I'm going to do this right now, man. So it does both. You get to see, if you know what you're doing, you're seeing what I'm doing in my model portfolio. If you don't know what you're doing, I'm going to teach you. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to show you how, when you join, you get access to Options Weapon School. It's 9 training sessions. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what the hell an option is, you're going to join and you're going to do your Options Weapon School training. When the kids go to bed over the weekend, you're going to get up to speed. So, absolutely. So, Bruce, look at this. Raytheon synthetic stock from April 25th, 365% profit. And I know I'm talking about NVIDIA, guys, but this is what we call a hockey stick. Ladies and gentlemen, sadly, if you got long-term bullish when I told you right here, what's that? Raytheon was kind of going down. Ladies and gentlemen, this moment in time was the dumbest strategic misstep in the history of man. Where's Sinwar? Maybe in hell. Sinwar is the biggest idiot on the planet. Let's go invade Israel. Sinwar's action on October 7th resulted in his death, in Hezbollah being destroyed, in Hamas being destroyed, and in the Ayatollah being killed. Why'd you take that tangent? Because you needed, well, you can still buy Raytheon up here. On October 8th, folks, Raytheon has never looked back. Again, October 8th, I wasn't too worried about buying Raytheon, folks. It was a horror seeing the videos of I didn't want to talk about it, man. An absolute horror. But ladies, look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a hockey stick, straight up. If you bought Raytheon October 8th, sadly, the stock alone is up 200%. That's the stock up 200%. If you did the options like our members, like I'm going to teach you right now, you're up hundreds of percent more. That's why we trade options. Options give you leverage. Stocks are for chumps. Get back to solo AI, though. But somebody made a Raytheon comment. I got glommed off on it. NVIDIA. This is a buy the dip opportunity, NVIDIA, in my opinion. So let's go with a more tactical chart. I also love, well, now I'm torn, Amazon. You know what? Let's do, all the names are going to end up in this portfolio. I'm trying to do a demo for the potential new folks. Why should I join? I'm going to do Amazon. We'll save NVIDIA. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just lead with the Death Star. I feel better doing that. So for all my new folks, my Marine buddies who can't even spell the word options, if you don't know what an option is, here comes your training. Wiz, man, you sold me the Death Star. I want to buy options right now. Well, if you wanted to buy 100 shares of Amazon right now, you need $21,000. Everybody got 21 grand laying around, right? Yay, go buy it. No. If you buy stock ever again in your life after this brief, you're an idiot. And I'm being polite. Watch me cook. Do you want to spend $21,000 to buy 100 shares? Or would you rather spend a fraction of that to control 100 shares? If you don't know what options are, folks, you use them almost every day. And options contract, what do contracts have? Well, they usually have a date. Of course, they have a date. And they have a dollar amount. Duh. Welcome to being an options trader. So here we go. Look at that, Mitch. Mitch is only up 312% on his synthetic stock in Raytheon. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull up what we call an options chain, right? And we're going to talk about this towards the end of the brief, more specifics about this, but just hang with me for a couple minutes. I'm going to hop in a time machine, folks, and I'm going to fly all the way out to December of 2028. Why? Well, first of all, that's as far out in the future as I can go in the options world. And I want to give this trade as much time to work as humanly possible. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? This isn't your father or mother stock market. People aren't buying and holding shares of a stock forever. This isn't your dad buying shares of General Motors and putting them in a shoebox in the closet. Those days are over with. The average holding time of somebody holding a stock is like a year, if that. Okay. So let's fly all the way out into the future to December of 2028. I'm pretty damn certain when you read my report that Amazon's going to keep moving up and to the right. It's a no brainer. It's printing money. I'm not going to give you all my commit criteria again. I already did it. Now let's cook. Do you want to spend 21 grand, or Amazon right now is trading at 208? Here are the options strikes, right? There's a 200. That's my current position. There's a 210. We're closer to 210, so let's use the 210 strike. I could buy one December 28, 210 call option. That gives me the right to control 100 shares of stock. One option contract equals 100 shares of stock. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 6,100 bucks. I just saved you $15,000. Tell me again why you'd want to buy stock. I'm not done yet. I'm going to lower this price even more. For those of you that are new to options, buying this call option means you're bullish. What does bullish mean? You think it's going to go up. I'm bullish, up. Bearish, down. I'm bullish on Amazon. I'm buying one options contract, which allows me to control these 100 shares for the next 2 years, 2.5 years. Somebody has to sell you that option. They're on the other side of the trade. So a call buyer is bullish, a call seller. Somebody on the other side of this trade thinks I'm an idiot. Like, dude, Amazon's going to zero in the next 2 years. Okay, let's see who the idiot is. That's what makes a market. Now, I'm not done. Like I said, there's 6,100 bucks for that call option. How about let's go to the other column over here, the puts. You've probably heard, even if you don't know that much about options, somebody say something like this. I'm going to buy some puts. I'm bearish. I think the market's going to go down. I'm buying some puts. So when you buy a put, you're bearish. You think something's going to go down. Somebody has to sell you that put. A put seller is bullish. They're putting a safety net under this. I'll sell you that put, man. I think we're going up. So we could sell a 210 put. Ladies and gentlemen, $1,800 to be long-term bullish, synthetically 100 shares of Amazon. Would you rather spend $21,000 or $1,800? Now, for those of you who are smart, my current members obviously know this, I use the word synthetic. You are synthetically long Amazon stock. You see that? This is called a P&L chart, right? That is long stock, the line up on the top. This is synthetic stock. You are long 100 shares synthetically of Amazon. What's synthetically mean, Wiz? You don't get two things that you would if you own the shares when you do the options, and neither of them matter with Amazon. Since you don't own the shares, not a shareholder, you're using options, you don't get to vote. I'm pretty certain Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife own one or two more shares than you'll ever own in your lifetime. So who cares? The other thing you don't get with synthetic stock is a dividend. Jeff Bezos chokes on the word dividend. He doesn't know what that means. Jeff Bezos is brilliant. Whenever he makes $1 at Amazon, what's he do with it? Puts it back into the company and makes the Death Star bigger, puts a competitor out of business, makes a new widget, puts NVIDIA out of business. Ladies and gentlemen, there ain't no dividend in Amazon. I don't think there ever will be. That's how the Death Star grows. So again, rhetorical question you don't have to answer. What type of idiot buys 100 shares of Amazon? It's stupid. You don't get to vote and you don't get a dividend. The leverage options give you is insane. For $1,700, you can do this. Now, Whenever I click on analyze for all the people who are about to join Top Gun Options, your eyes, I'm going to train you, go to only one place, and it's max potential loss. Max potential loss is 22.7. Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the max potential loss if you owned 100 shares? Well, Amazon can go to zero, I guess, right? Yeah. Same thing in the options trade, but I'm not done yet. But ladies and gentlemen, what's the probability of Amazon going to zero in the next 2 years? There's only two decimal places here, 0.0. I guarantee you there's probably 9 decimal points of zeros and a 1. The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never zero. They're pretty insignificant. So, of course, the odds of Amazon going to zero are never always zero, but it's it's not going to happen. I don't care, though. Holy crap. Let me stop this brief and grab these from the chat box. Everybody who's not a current member, go look in the chat box, please. I'm grabbing these screenshots. Mitch, Jeff, and Doug, look at their Raytheon positions. And again, you didn't miss this, folks. Raytheon's just starting to rip based on everything I just told you. Let's keep going here. Ladies and gentlemen, I never went flying, and the F-15 Strike Eagle pilots and weapons systems officers didn't go flying yesterday with no ejection seat. We always go flying with an ejection seat. Let's go put one on. What's a disaster? If you own Amazon or the S&P 500, breaking news, as of today, the S&P 500 is down 20%. What do they call that? A bear market. So I just use round numbers. Why don't I buy what I call a disaster put 20% under the current stock price? What is that, about 180? Yeah, it's about 180. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called a disaster put. Now look at my max potential risk. What was it? 22, 23 grand? What if Amazon goes to zero in the next 2.5 years? The max I could ever lose is $7,600. That's not going to happen. But I mitigated my risk, right? Now, obviously the price of the trade went up a little bit because what? I just bought insurance. You can buy whichever puts you want. I did 20% underneath it. Wiz, that ain't going to happen. I'm going to buy the 150 puts. All right, good for you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just showing you what I would do. That makes it only $3,500 trade. I'm not done yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, you could just do this on your screen. If you're new to trading options, this will be the first name added to the solo AI model portfolio. I have 2 Amazon positions right now. You can see my Amazon position. It is right there. I have the 200s on. So you're getting, if you did this trade right now, you're only getting it $10 above where I am. Okay. You could just do this, put it in a filing cabinet, and never look at it again until November of 28 when you're exiting for 900% profit, like some of these other members are doing. Or I'm cheap. I want somebody to pay this down. I want this trade paid off by somebody else. That's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Let's add option, and I'm going to sell what I call the front month. What's the front month, folks? You're sitting in it. I'm going to go out to Friday, which is March 6th, right? And I am going to sell, what are we at right now? Let me go look at the chart. Let's pull the chart up in the background. We're kind of doing, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, again, men lie, trades don't. What did we do on Amazon last week, folks? We had a iron condor that went right through the upright. Look at this, weekly iron condor expiring today, splitting the uprights for max profit. Ladies and gentlemen, last week we did an iron condor. It's a range-bound trade. Amazon can move all over the place as long as it doesn't go out of our range. That trade made 100% profit last week. Let me get a hell yeah if you were in the Amazon iron condor. Fantastic Amazon trade last week. Now, here's what we're going to do on Amazon. It looks like 210 has been resistance, short-term resistance. 210, 210, 210, 210, 210, 210, and we're in the middle of it. You could sell a Friday 210 call against this position. And what did I just do? Whoa, Wiz, you brought in 450. You lowered the cost of this trade to $3,000. You're damn right I did it. Does that's a call, sorry. That was a put wrong. Here we go. Sell one March 6th, 210 call. $300. Does everybody understand this? Let me grab a screenshot of this because I'm going to show you that I blast this trade out instantaneously. Wiz, I work every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Matter of fact, I'm watching you on the replay right now. Well, if you're watching me and you're a member on the replay, you are going to get this alert in about 1 minute. Let me grab a screenshot of the trades. I will answer what I do with the short call in 2 minutes. Let me blast this out as an alert. Now, if you're sitting here going, dude, I have no idea what you just did. Synthetic stock with a protective put. Guess what? When you join in a couple minutes, you're going to go to options weapons school, man, and start what? That took what? 10 minutes? Ladies and gentlemen, if you kind of followed me a little bit, school set is, how long is this? Hour and 2 minutes on that tactic. You can pause, you can hang out and get a cup of coffee, go for a walk, come back, watch this 5 times. In the live trade briefs that I'm doing right now, I kind of rip. I'm ripping through these tactics. Why? Because you needed to go to weapons school and do your training, right? So if you kind of follow, welcome aboard. All right, so let me show you. I'm going to blast this out. And as of today, my techies are doing all the rebranding, folks. This ain't going to be Amazon Trade Alerts anymore. It's going to be Solo AI. New Solo AI. Initial portfolio position. We are launching our Solo AI service with the Death Star. I at everyone so they all get the alert. And now I add the screenshots that I just took. Where are they? There's one. There's two. All right, so there's the screenshots of the image. This is going to appear on your phone for members and on the website, obviously. Launched our new Solo AI portfolio. The first of 10 new positions is the Death Star, period. Amazon. All right, I published that. One potato vibration right on my app on my phone. This is how we do it, man. Instantaneous trade alerts. Okay. And I'll answer questions here about this trade in a couple minutes. I love it. I think this morning I already sold an Amazon call against my position out the Friday account. Amazon, did I do it? Or no, I don't. So look at this. I have 2 synthetic stock positions. I'm going to sell. Yeah, I'll sell that 210 against. No, that's for today. So somebody asked, and let's do that. I'm going to sell a day trade. I'm going to sell this one, the 207.5 that expires today. So they have Monday, Wednesday, Friday options in Amazon. I'll do that one for this port for that. And then the Friday, I'll do that 210 out the Friday against my other. I have 2 synthetic stock positions. I told you it's one of my largest positions. So I just sold the 210 and the 207.5. One for today, one for Friday. Let me go group these together. Again, if I'm moving fast, folks, once you get your training done, you read your manuals, you're good to go. I'll put the 207s with that one, save, and then I'll group this one with this one. Grouping. First name in this portfolio, I'm going to add a new name. Whoops. We're going to have 9 of these positions in our solo AI model portfolio. What are the 9 positions? They're in your manual, man. Everybody get that? Anybody come in late? Anybody need the manual? You should have downloaded it after you registered. You should have downloaded it when I already put it in the chat box. Anybody need the manual before I brief our service more? This is the manual right here. AI infrastructure super cycle. Okay. All right. Hang on one second. I'll upload it again. All right. Let me upload this. I'll answer the trading questions in a second, folks. Let me get this stuff up here. All right. So everybody look in the chat box right now. If you entered late, you owe me 50 push-ups. And there you go. I do. It wouldn't download. That's on your end. It's showing me that it's green and downloadable. Let me show you what I'm seeing right here. So when I see this green check mark, anybody see that? It's uploaded right there. Okay, so not sure. Obviously, when you join, you're going to get access to it as well. Okay, I'll answer the trading questions in a second, but I want to keep us on timeline here. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what do you need? And let me just show you real quick. You're going to get when you join access to our options weapon school, man. These are 9 comprehensive training sessions, building block approach. Look at this. Session 1, Wiz, I don't even know what the hell the stock market is. That's what session 1 is, man. Where do I gather my intelligence? What are the basics of stocks and options? Our 7-step tactical trade plan. We don't even talk about calls and puts until I get to options weapon school session 2. And then 6 is synthetic stock, like I just showed you. If you kind of hung out and said, you know what, I kind of follow that, man, you're doing pretty good. We just raised the price of options weapon school. It's included. It was $297. Now it's $497, man. We haven't raised prices in a decade. Those days are over with. So why would you trade options? First of all, I just showed you. Why would you spend 21 grand when you could spend 3? I just saved you $18,000 if you wanted to buy 100 shares of Amazon today. Do you understand that? You're welcome. Stocks, a lot of capital, unlimited risk, leverage, 1-to-1. Where do you make income? Well, the buy, hope, and pray method. You buy a stock, you hope it goes up. If it doesn't, you pray. And maybe I get a nickel or 2 as a dividend. Volatility hurts you. Big swings can be big drawdowns. Protection, none of it's built in unless you buy some puts on it, folks. Capital of options, a fraction of the cost. Did you see what I just did? You could just stop at I'm just going to buy 1 Amazon call option. Why would you do that? Sell the put, buy a disaster put, and do the synthetic stock. You have defined risk. Leverage, significant leverage. Income, I'm bringing in money today and Friday on Amazon selling those short calls. Volatility, we love volatility as options traders, folks. And we have protection with options. We got, our ejection seat is built in, right? I'm going to teach you, man. I went from that dude, that young lieutenant trading options, flying off the Abraham Lincoln in the Persian Gulf to Wall Street, man. This ain't hard. What do you need to trade successfully? It's solo AI training, not education. The world's full of educated derelicts. Look at Harvard, Yale, Columbia. Training gives you a skill, man. Doctors are trained until they're replaced by AI. Fighter pilots are trained until they're replaced by AI. You need a plan. You're going to get your 7-step trade plan that we go through on every trade. I kind of ripped through it. Really didn't talk about it that in depth for the sake of time. And then with Options Weapon School, I got the trade planning. What do? You jump in a live trade brief. The live trade brief is the practical application of the Options Weapon School training here, man. Folks, this isn't another trading service. This is combat tested, Wall Street proven system. Other services give you fish. Somebody mentioned that earlier. I teach you how to fish, right? Build the rod, tie the lure, read the water, man. You give you my commit criteria, the risk, the exit plan, all this type of stuff, folks, man. Folks, Other places suck. I've been doing this at Top Gun Options. We're going on year 16. We are a closed, tight knit squadron, man, and we're pretty elite here. That's why we only when I do this, and we're only taking 25. To be honest with you, this was a screenshot from last week. Look at our just a typical day for our members. Where's Scott? Got better fills. Opened and closed 1570 profit. Paul did what I did this morning. Hey, just bought a call, $500 in an hour. Brent, I love this. Boom is right. Hell of a call, Wiz. I missed the bottom, but like the sentiment. 3180 in 28 minutes, folks. That's a year and a half of your new solo AI service. Love the group, man. Got out of the AMD put today. Easy $1,500. Awesome advice, brother. Look at this. Probably could have waited a bit longer, but still getting my feet under me. I'll take the profit. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody's gone broke taking a profit. I didn't talk about it on the synthetic stock for the sake of time, but before we place a trade, before I ever squeeze a trade trigger on real capital, I know when I'm getting out, either for max profit or minimum loss. I don't have enough time, folks. It's once a week, man. Watch the replay whenever you have time and get the alerts immediately to the phone. This ain't, I don't sit, folks. I can't stand sitting here. First of all, I have an hour ass and this is killing me. I already want to get up. If I wasn't doing this, I would have made my $5,000 this morning and went to the beach, literally. So I don't sit here all day. I don't have money to trade, folks. For a couple $100, you can get started trading options. You don't have to necessarily do that Amazon position. I'm going to show you how to do spreads. Couple $100, couple $1,000. I can't tell you what you need to get started with. I don't know you. I'd love to get to know you, but that's what registered investment advisors, broker dealers do. I am neither of those things. I am not giving you investment advice. I will never tell you what to do. You're getting to eavesdrop on what I'm doing. Not experienced enough. Good. I have no idea what a call is. Awesome. You don't have bad habits. When I showed up to flight school in Pensacola, Florida, I had about 50 hours in a Cessna. I did great. We had a guy in my flight school class who was a Learjet. He was a corporate pilot, flew Learjets, 6,000 hours. I thought he was going to do great. They almost threw him out. He barely made it through flight training. Why? Bad habits. The Navy will teach you what they want to teach you. So I'm glad you might not have enough experience. So here you go. I'm going to give you this right now. We're only taking 25. Choose your plan, ladies and gentlemen. $197 a month, right? That ain't even I don't drink anymore, but that's not even a good bottle of wine for the old Wiz. I mean, I can have a glass of wine nowadays, Wiz, but alcohol has been destroyed in my life, thank you God, due to ibogaine and psychedelic assisted therapy. But you got options weapon school separate, obviously. Or I'm going to hook you up with this, $19.97 a year. I just showed you this morning with 3 individual trades. I made over $5,000. That's 2.5 years of an annual membership here. Options Weapon School is included. You obviously get a much better deal if you do the annual. This is the fastest way to start trading. Let me give you the link, folks, right now, because I'm only taking 25. In the old days, it would be 50. It got a little zooish. I don't like a zoo. I don't want, no offense, I don't want a ton of people. We have a nice tight-knit squadron here. We have about 698 folks right now. Let me give you the link to join. Oh, I appreciate that, Shrek. Everybody listen to Shrek. Shrek is my Marine brother. He and I went to Top Gun together. He's smarter than me. He went through the harder course. I went through the slack-jawed reservist, long hair, unshine boots course. Shrek also flew, in addition to Hornets, he flew F-35s, man. So Shrek is a badass. Everybody thank Shrek for his service. But look at what Shrek just wrote. Appreciate that. Been trading with Wiz since 2014. Love this place. I have a profession, but my business is trading and investing. Up 117 since Jan 1st. And I love that he says, hey, I got to learn how to do this. Instead of just following, man. Lead, follow, get out of the way. That's awesome, Shrek. I appreciate that. Kid, lifetime still is the best. In the 3 years I've been here, there has been amazing additions and the service, which is always included. I appreciate it. Shrek doesn't want to tell you this, but I'll tell you on behalf of Shrek. Shrek actually did a ground tour in Iraq. Shrek survived a ground tour, essentially being like a forward air controller. He was shot at in Iraq and all that type of stuff. Never hit. He was shot in Memphis. Shrek was shot in Memphis. The guy survives combat on the other side of the planet and ends up getting shot in Memphis. He's fine. He's flying. He's got a nice little yak airplane that he flies with. So he's a Memphis stan. I love it. So you know what, folks? Everybody read those comments. If you're new to Top Gun Options, look at the camaraderie we got going on here. This ain't like other places. So this is the link where you can join. Go to topgunoptions.com/solo-AI-replay. This is where I'm going to post. You ready for it? The replay page. So there's Graham. Graham lives down in Australia. It's like 2 a.m. for Graham. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So just scroll down, folks, and you can grab what you need. Okay, so that's where you join down here. I'm only taking 25 of these people. Okay, so this is Trader Vic, a bubblehead, a sub guy. All right, hold on. Let me hold on 1 second here. I'm gonna write my techie real quick. Okay. All right. Let me backfill and answer trading questions. Let me scroll up here. Any questions on what you're the replay is going to be up here? I just put the Friday market wrap up or whatever was there it is. Yeah, the Friday market wrap up's a placeholder, but just scroll down right here. This is insane. The value you're getting, folks, is insane. Now, maybe down the road, you can join Full Throttle. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we do Full Throttle training. We're going to talk about Raytheon. We're going to talk about psychedelics and stuff like that. On Wednesday, I mean, I'm not happy about this. He was, Trump administration, very anxious to allow psychedelic therapy as quickly as possible. You said that a year ago, Mr. Secretary, you and Collins. You got 4 months left on your promise, or I'm taking a flamethrower to all you guys. I'm burning this place down. Big pharma, alcohol, tobacco interests. These guys started with some serious airspeed and some good talk, but guess what? Follow the money. I'm furious at this. Namaste. It'll all be good with. But so in our other portfolios, we're going to talk about other stuff. We do talk about other stuff tomorrow. We're going to be talking about volatility, Raytheon, the S&P 500. In this portfolio, Solo AI, we're going to be adding 10 names. Okay. We just added, or I already have two of the first name is Amazon. All right. Trade questions. Let's get to those. Let me scroll up. Or you know what? Do me a favor. Just rewrite your question, retype it so I don't have to, because there's a lot of comments in this chat box. But go through this report. After you join, go through this report. It's current. It's up to date. I updated it this morning. The NVIDIA section. It's got our highest conviction name in here, Amazon. I have the price targets in here. Broadcom. I got the power names in here. At the end of the report, kind of shows you, here it is. Look at this. Folks, this is a better hedge fund product than I've seen in my life. When I was in Chicago, this type of report would have been reserved for a GSAM client, Goldman Sachs Asset Management. $50 to $100 million with them in order to get this type of report. Or this report is about $5 to $10 grand a month from a report service or a Bloomberg terminal. This is included. That report that I gave you is a couple grand worth of value, period. All right, let me scroll up here. Thank you. I've been with Wiz a long time. If you join, you're not disappointed. I appreciate that. Thomas, why not do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday options on Amazon? I did, Thomas. I did both of them. I did a Monday option for today, and I did a Friday option. Already covered that. Jan, Wiz, does Solo AI provide research or AI enhanced trades on other equities, indices, and other stocks? Jan, they're all on the screen. Those are the 10 names I'm focusing on. I've been researching. I've been building this for a month, man. That's the portfolio right there. In full throttle, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll talk about all sorts of other stuff. Makes sense? Devondra, what is the margin amount for the Amazon trade? I have no clue. Devondra, folks, I will never or almost never talk about margin. I don't know what your account is. On many of my accounts, I have portfolio margining. I have insane margin. Some people might have $1,000 in their account. I don't know. You're going to have on your order ticket, if you just do one contract and you click like preview order, it should show you how that impacts your margin. I don't talk about margin, folks. There's 200 people in here. Every 200 people might have different margin requirements. It makes no sense to do that. Vinny, in the Amazon trade after March 6th, do you keep rolling that trade out for another week or do you let them expire? Vinny, great question. Let's go look. And that's about 7 new members, folks. I will close. You will not be member number 26. I will take that page down when we get 25 new members. I'm not doing a zoo. If you're not getting your membership, once we hit 25, that page goes down. No zoo. So great question, man. Let's pull this one up right here. So ladies and gentlemen, here's today's option, for example, the 207.5, right? If Amazon expires below 207.5 today, I keep the, whatever it was, $80 of profit that I gained. If Amazon recovers today and starts climbing, I can roll those calls up for today, or I could roll them out to Wednesday or out to Friday. But to your point, Vinny, yes, I manage that short call. I mean, if it's staying below 207.5 by 4 o'clock this afternoon, I don't have to close it necessarily. It's a safer thing to do to close trades when we hit profit, right? So let me just give you that SOP real quick. 7, 8, 9. If I'm looking at a 70, 80, or 90% profit on those short calls, close them. Why? Pigs get slaughtered. Also, Vinny, you know what? It could be 3:55 this afternoon and Amazon's down here at 2:06 and I walk away from the desk and I come back at 4:01. Breaking news, Jesus returned to Earth and he announced he's replacing Jeff Bezos at Amazon. The stock's up 1,000,000,000%. I will get destroyed in that short call. So it's always better to close trades than, quote, let them expire worthless. I will teach you my SOP, my standard operating procedure at Top Gun Options. 7, 8, 9. Now, when would I eject? If I sold those calls for 80 cents, I think they were. I'm a basic political science major. I will eject at $1.60. If Amazon starts rallying today and that call option goes up to $1.60, I'll close. I will eject out of those. Now, if you're sitting here going, man, I'm not following any of that, good. You need to go join and you need to go watch Option School Weapons session number 6. Do you understand? John, you should have gotten a welcome email immediately. Go look at your spam. Everybody, if you join and you don't see anything, it's in your spam. I guarantee it. Most people are like, there it is. For whatever reason, man, Gmail or whatever, it's like Top Gun Options. It has financial stuff. It's potentially spam. You can kiss my ass. Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Oh, by the way, smart remarks. I don't go an hour and 23 minutes, folks. I mean, I do, but not in a live trade brief. These are usually about 45 minutes to an hour. Again, I don't want to sit here all day. So this went longer than needed, but the extra 23 minutes was me introducing myself, introducing this new portfolio and everything that's going to be covered in it. Okay. There kind of more slides. The AI revolution won't wait. Neither should you. What are you going to get in this portfolio? That AI report I'm going to update constantly, ladies and gentlemen. That is a living, breathing document. That's worth a couple grand right there, ladies and gentlemen. The weekly live trade brief, the replay, the trade alerts that I just sent out, the Options Weapon School session. It's included in the annual membership. Somebody asked. It ain't included in the monthly. It's $197 a month, folks. The training's $497. It's included in the annual. not the monthly. You get your manuals and you get access to that ready room as well. Okay. All right, let me clean up with a couple questions as well. Wiz, are you using the people are typing way too fast. Scott, absolutely. That put back spread on NVIDIA is a hedge. Folks, in the next, I'm glad he asked that. Folks, in the next, even though I'm kind of bullish on all these names, I am long-term strategically bullish, years into the future. I think we're going to have some insane volatility in the front months. So in this service, we're going to be bipolar. What's that mean? You can be two things. I can be long-term bullish on NVIDIA, for example, years into the future, and tactically bearish. I'm telling you, folks, a lot of these names, when not if the bubble pops, are going to get hammered, just like the dot-com bubble. A phoenix will rise from the ashes, but I'm not afraid of the pop. I just showed you folks this morning, well, in the S&P 500, when it imploded, we had a bearish position on. Ladies and gentlemen, trading options, we make money up, down, sideways. Matter of fact, between us ladies, I want a bubble pop. Why? Because it's going to be a storm. Volatility is going to hit. Names are going to implode. Options premium goes through the roof. We make more money pounding things into the dirt as an option. I love down as an options trader. As Wiz with a soul, I don't like down. People get destroyed. 401ks become 101ks. That hurt. I don't like seeing people in pain. Now let me channel Gordon Gekko. If you want a friend, get a dog. I'm going to pound those people into the dirt. If the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket and the market's going to implode, I'm going to make money doing it, just like in the COVID crash. All right, let me scroll up, guys. Sorry, you guys are typing way too fast. Full Throttle would like to recommend X training. Werner, I have no idea. Those are the Full Throttle training, folks, is evergreen. Options Weapons School training, it will be the same 20 years from now. A bearish double vertical is a bearish double vertical. It doesn't change. Now, the tactics of what's going on in the market maybe I'll do one next quarter or something like that. It's a lot of work to redo those 9 sessions. Sam, Wiz, you took Amazon trade for solo AI, but you do this for solo. Sam, I don't know if you've been keeping up on current events, but let me brief you real quick. There is no solo Amazon. It's over with. It's done. It's gone. This is the solo AI service. One of the core positions will be Amazon. There is no solo Amazon anymore. And that's a reminder. If you're in solo Amazon monthly, it's gone. If you didn't take the 50% upgrade, you're 97. When your $97 monthly is up, you're gone unless you upgrade. No more solo Amazon. I've done a week of emails and briefing on this, Sam. Maybe you missed all of that. There's a bunch of buzzing on my phone. Folks, the bunch of buzzing is people joining. 25, and then we're going to close. Again, men lie, trades don't. Raytheon printed money today. The VIX, the S&P 500, we printed money as the markets went down. Let me go look at Raytheon real quick. If you have time, does somebody want a Raytheon trade? And by the way, I put on a bullish, holy crap, look at Raytheon. I love it. This wasn't hard, folks. This was free money. I just laugh. I also laugh at the people like, oh, we might fill this gap, but if we fill this gap, it would be like back down to 205. This thing ain't going to be over anytime soon. Let's go out a couple weeks and look at like a 205, 202 and a half bull put spread. There's really no premium there. Let me look at a 207, 207 and a half, 205. And now I'm really going to confuse people like, dude, I don't even know what a bull put spread is. There's no premium in that. So folks, I'm gonna add to Raytheon. Let me give you a warning though, folks. This is a gap move, right? I gotta hit the tanker. Gotta hit the tanker, man. I'm low on fuel. It used to suck, man. Flying a Hornet and having a tank off a KC-135. So, you know what? I'm not going to do a Raytheon trade. I'm going to wait a little bit and I'm going to send this out to my current members. If you join, maybe you'll get this trade. I think we're going to fill this gap on Raytheon. This is initial euphoria pop. It's sad to say euphoria on death and destruction, but it is what it is. If you want a friend, get a dog. Let me drop it 207.5. I think we pull back to 207.5. Finds 205 ish. So gap move. Let me just draw some stuff real quick and tell you what I'm thinking. Gap move, half the gap, right around there. If we don't fill the gap and hang up here, it's bullish, and I'll fire a trade. If we fill the gap and we hang, that's also bullish. I'll place a bullish put spread. If we fill the gap and go through it, bearish, pound it into the dirt. So I'm going to hang, right? I have to post this replay and send out marketing emails after this brief. So I'm going to hang. I'm not going to fire that one right now because I think we might get a little bit of a retreat. If we don't, I will fire it. But I got to watch. I got to watch a little bit more. Okay. I absolutely agree with that, Vic. But if we hover and don't pull back, that's a bullish sign. I'd shoot that. What I would shoot is the 207.5, 205. But shameless plug, if you join, you're going to see that trade posted in the member area. If not, you're going to see it after the fact if you don't join. So that's not a good thing. Okay. Hey, before I forget, and I think I closed it because I'm like, go back in time if I look. Everybody, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I throw out a lot of great full content. I'm actually live streaming on YouTube right now, but there's a lot of great content on here. I usually show stuff way after I place the trade on the free side, so that's why you got to join. Any other questions? Because I went way too long. Again, hour and a half. I want to go get my teeth drilled. It would be more fun than doing this, but I had to knock out that little marketing stuff at the beginning because we have a ton of new folks who have opted in to check out our new Solo AI service. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the people who don't understand, Solo Amazon is gone. We're going to incorporate Amazon into this new portfolio. It's my largest holding and will be the biggest one, like it says at the end of this report. Right, there we go. It says it, highest conviction, right? Lowest, moderate, and there's my lotto ticket down at the bottom. Everybody have the report. Everybody have the link to join. Everybody good? What an awesome brief. Just asked me. It was awesome seeing my brother Raisin. I love that guy, man. He's just a great American and a straight shooter. What a good, great American. It's sad because, man, when he retired 2 years ago, I literally had an email under the trigger to say, hey, man, can you join the board of our foundation? And I was on a retreat in Oregon, a No Fallen Heroes retreat at an Oregon clinic when I saw the news break, man. And I'm like, maybe when he's done being the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he'll join the board of our foundation. I won't have to worry about raising money for these nonprofits since I suck at it. It's easy to ask people for money for trading stuff, right? I'm demonstrating making money. It's tough to get profits or people to donate just out of the goodness of the heart. Unless you're Mo, unless you're Mayor, unless you're some of the TGO members who just do it. Hey man, I made $3,000 in this trade today, Wiz. There's $1,500 for the foundation to help fund a healing grant. All right, I got to go. I got to get up and stretch my legs. The replay for the free people will be posted on the replay page right there. For the member people, it'll be on the techies are doing it right now, rebranding everything to Solo AI. Happy to join. Blessings, Wiz. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to all the new members. I've been this excited in a long time. It's excited in a good way, but I got to be honest with you, man, it's excited in a bad way. I think there's horror coming. Absolute, unmitigated horror. Are you prepared? I think this is one of the two of the things that I do right now ain't going away. Trading, even though they're black box trading and you still need a brain and emotions type of thing to trade. And then psychedelic assisted therapy. I think with tens of millions of Americans out of work, people are going to need some healing. And I'm here to do both of. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it, my brother. All right, guys, replay posted on the replay page shortly. Once we get 25, this page is going down, or the sales part of it. You can still watch replay. We'll do this. We'll do probably a solo AI launch every quarter, once a quarter. This is your Q1 solo AI brief in the books. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. God bless our young men and women. My son's leaving on deployment in 3 weeks for the Air Force. God bless the young women, the young men serving this country. God bless the families of those lost. God bless the families of just anybody whose kids are serving right now. I pray to God they come home safe, and I pray to God that that killing and war stops. To the great Persian people, any loss of life. Hell, man, the Ayatollah. I'm really not weeping that guy, checking out, but man, he's a man. He's part of mankind. Who said it? John Donne. Any man's loss, the loss of any man lessens me, for I am part of mankind. Whom does the bell toll? It tolls for thee. So have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste and basi. Fights on. I'll see you guys. I'll see many of you tomorrow in the full throttle brief, primary brief. Cheers. See ya.